The book of Genesis, the very first book of the Bible, is a timeless and profound account of the origins of the universe, humanity, and the covenant between God and His creation.
It is a foundation of faith, exploring the divine mysteries and illustrating the enduring relationship between God and humanity.
A story of humanity's triumphs and tribulations, offering wisdom and hope for all who seek it.
Join us on this spiritual journey through the book of Genesis as we explore the timeless stories that continue to shape our understanding of the world and our place in it.
Chapter 1, Creation.
Let us start with the original text.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And God said,
"Let there be light."
And there was light. God saw that the light was good, and He separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And God said,
"Let there be a vault between the waters to separate water from water."
So God made the vault and separated the water under the vault from the water above it. And it was so. God called the vault sky. And there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. And God said,
"Let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear."
And the gathered waters He called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said,
"Let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants and trees on the land that bear fruit with seed in it, according to their various kinds."
And it was so. The land produced vegetation, plants bearing seed according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. And God said,
"Let there be lights in the vault of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark sacred times and days and years. And let them be lights in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth."
And it was so. God made two great lights, the greater light to govern the day and the lesser light to govern the night. He also made the stars. God set them in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good, and there was evening, and there was morning, the fourth day. And God said,
"Let the water teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the vault of the sky."
So God created the great creatures of the sea, and every living thing with which the water teems, and that moves about in it according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. God blessed them and said,
"Be fruitful and increase in number, and fill the water in the seas, and let the birds increase on the earth."
And there was evening, and there was morning, the fifth day. And God said,
"Let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds, the livestock, the creatures that move along the ground, and the wild animals, each according to its kind."
And it was so. God made the wild animals according to their kinds, the livestock according to their kinds, and all the creatures that move along the ground according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. Then God said,
"Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground."
So God created mankind in His own image. In the image of God He created them. Male and female He created them. God blessed them and said to them,
"Be fruitful and increase in number. Fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground."
Then God said,
"I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. And to all the beasts of the earth, and all the birds in the sky, and all the creatures that move along the ground, everything that has the breath of life in it, I give every green plant for food."
And it was so. God saw all that He had made, and it was very good. and there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day.
Now let's dive into the summary of chapter 1.
Genesis chapter 1 is a magnificent story of creation. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. It's the birth of the universe, the seas, the land, and all living creatures. The pinnacle of this divine masterpiece is the creation of humanity. God created mankind in His own image, male and female. He created them.
This chapter teaches us several profound lessons. Firstly, it reminds us that our world is a gift. The universe, earth, and all life are expressions of God's creativity. The concept of humans being created in the image of God is a reminder of our inherent worth and potential for goodness. It highlights the importance of treating ourselves and others with respect and dignity.
The emphasis on diversity teaches us to embrace and celebrate differences. Just as the natural world thrives on biodiversity, our communities thrive when we appreciate and respect each other's unique qualities. Genesis chapter 1 encourages us to be stewards of the earth. We're entrusted with the responsibility to care for our planet and preserve its beauty for future generations.
Lastly, it reminds us of the significance of rest. Even the Creator rested on the seventh day. This underscores the value of balance in our lives, with time for work, reflection, and reconnection.
Now let's connect these timeless teachings from Genesis chapter 1 to our modern lives.
A gifted world.
Our world is a precious gift, and we have a duty to protect it. Climate change, deforestation, and pollution threaten the earth. Genesis reminds us to be responsible stewards, to care for the environment, and to be mindful of the impact of our actions. In a world where sustainability and environmental consciousness are essential, Genesis's message takes on even greater significance. Our choices matter, and we can make a positive impact on the planet.
In the image of God,
the idea that every human is created in the image of God emphasizes our shared humanity. It calls for us to treat one another with kindness, empathy, and respect. In a diverse and interconnected world, acknowledging the image of God in each person means embracing differences, advocating for equality, and standing up against discrimination and injustice.
Celebrating diversity.
Diversity is a source of strength. Just as the natural world thrives on biodiversity, our societies are enriched by different cultures, perspectives, and experiences. In a globalized world, we can draw on the teachings of Genesis to foster inclusivity and to bridge divides among people of various backgrounds.
Stewardship and responsibility.
Stewardship isn't limited to environmental issues. It extends to responsible governance, ethical business practices, and social justice. Genesis reminds us of our duty to protect not only the environment, but also the well-being of all people. In our modern world, this means working for a more equitable society, advocating for human rights, and supporting those in need.
Embracing rest.
In a fast-paced, 24/7 world, the concept of rest is often overlooked. Genesis's emphasis on rest reminds us of the importance of balance. Taking time for self-care, relaxation, and reflection is essential for mental and emotional well-being. It allows us to be more effective in our work and to find fulfillment in our lives. As we reflect on Genesis chapter 1, we find that its teachings are timeless, relevant, and impactful in our modern lives. By honoring the gift of creation, respecting the image of God in every person, celebrating diversity, practicing responsible stewardship, and embracing rest, we can create a more harmonious and sustainable world for all.
Genesis chapter 2, Adam, Eve, and the Garden.
As usual, we start with the original text.
Thus, the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. By the seventh day, God had finished the work He had been doing. So on the seventh day, He rested from all His work. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it He rested from all the work of creating that He had done. This is the account of the heavens and the earth when they were created. when the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. Now no shrub had yet appeared on the earth, and no plant had yet sprung up, for the Lord God had not sent rain on the earth, and there was no one to work the ground, but streams came up from the earth and watered the whole surface of the ground. Then the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. Now the Lord God had planted a garden in the east, in Eden, and there he put the man he had formed. The Lord God made all kinds of trees grow out of the ground, trees that were pleasing to the eye and good for food. In the middle of the garden were the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. A river watering the garden flowed from Eden. From there it was separated into 4 headwaters. The name of the first is the Pishon. It winds through the entire land of Havilah, where there is gold. The name of the second river is the Gihon. It winds through the entire land of Cush. The name of the third river is the Tigris. It runs along the east side of Asher. And the fourth river is the Euphrates. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. And the Lord God commanded the man,
"You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. For when you eat from it, you will certainly die."
The Lord God said,
"It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him."
Now the Lord God had formed out of the ground all the wild animals and all the birds in the sky. He brought them to the man to see what he would name them. And whatever the man called each living creature, that was its name. So the man gave names to all the livestock, the birds in the sky, and all the wild animals. But for Adam, no suitable helper was found. So the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep, and while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and then closed up the place with flesh. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man. The man said,
"This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man."
That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh. Adam and his wife were both naked, and they felt no shame.
In Genesis chapter 2, we witness a more detailed account of creation. God forms Adam from the dust of the ground, breathing life into him. The Garden of Eden, a paradise, is introduced, where Adam is placed to care for it. In the garden, God provides everything Adam needs, with only one restriction: refraining from eating the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. God recognizes that it's not good for Adam to be alone, and, in response, creates animals, yet none are a suitable companion for him. Genesis chapter 2 imparts significant teachings. Firstly, it highlights the sacredness of human life. Adam is formed by God's very hands, emphasizing the divine nature of humanity. This underscores the intrinsic worth and dignity of every individual. Additionally, the Garden of Eden represents God's provision. It symbolizes abundance, care, and a sense of purpose. The act of placing Adam in the garden teaches us about our responsibility as stewards of the earth. We are entrusted with the care and preservation of the world around us.
The introduction of companionship and the creation of Eve emphasize the importance of human relationships. This chapter reminds us that we are not meant to live in isolation, but to form deep, meaningful connections with one another.
Let's explore how the teachings of Genesis chapter 2 continue to resonate in our modern lives.
The sacredness of human life.
Today, as we navigate complex ethical and moral questions, Genesis chapter 2 reminds us of the sanctity of life. It challenges us to respect the inherent worth of every individual, regardless of their background, beliefs, or circumstances. This teaching underpins principles of human rights, compassion, and justice in our contemporary society.
Stewardship and environmental responsibility.
In an era where environmental concerns are at the forefront, the Garden of Eden serves as a powerful symbol of the environment's significance. We are reminded of our role as stewards of the earth. It calls us to adopt sustainable practices, protect ecosystems, and address the climate crisis to preserve the world for future generations.
the importance of companionship.
As we face the challenges of loneliness and disconnection in the digital age, Genesis chapter 2 speaks to the vital importance of human relationships. It encourages us to build meaningful connections, support one another, and nurture bonds of friendship, love, and community. In a world marked by increasing social isolation, this lesson is more pertinent than ever. Genesis chapter 2 offers timeless teachings. It invites us to honor the sanctity of human life, embrace our role as stewards of the earth, and prioritize the value of meaningful human connections. By incorporating these lessons into our lives, we can find purpose, meaning, and fulfillment. Chapter 3, The Choices We Make. Let's start with the original text. Now the serpent was more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord God had made. He said to the woman,
Did God really say,
You must not eat from any tree in the garden.
The woman said to the serpent,
We may eat fruit from the trees in the garden, but God did say,
You must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it, or you will die.
You will not certainly die?
The serpent said to the woman,
For God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil.
When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made coverings for themselves. Then the man and his wife heard the sound of the Lord God as he was walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and they hid from the Lord God among the trees of the garden. But the Lord God called to the man,
Where are you?
He answered,
I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid.
And he said,
Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from?
The man said,
The woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree and I ate it.
Then the Lord God said to the woman,
What is this you have done?
The woman said,
The serpent deceived me and I ate.
So the Lord God said to the serpent,
Because you have done this, cursed are you above all livestock and all wild animals. You will crawl on your belly and you will eat dust all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel.
To the woman he said,
I will make your pains in childbearing very severe. With painful labor you will give birth to children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you.
To Adam he said,
Because you listened to your wife and ate fruit from the tree about which I commanded you, you must not eat from it. Cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil you will eat food from it all the days of your life. It will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your brow you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you will return.
Adam named his wife Eve, because she would become the mother of all the living. The Lord God made garments of skin for Adam and his wife and clothed them. And the Lord God said,
The man has now become like one of us, knowing good and evil. He must not be allowed to reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever.
So the Lord God banished him from the Garden of Eden to work the ground from which he had been taken. After he drove the man out, he placed on the east side of the Garden of Eden cherubim and a flaming sword flashing back and forth to guard the way to the tree of life.
In Genesis chapter 3, we encounter a tale as old as humanity itself. Adam and Eve, residing in the lush Garden of Eden, face a critical test. The serpent, cunning and crafty, tempts them to eat from the forbidden tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Succumbing to temptation, they disobey God's command, and their eyes are open to the realities of good and evil. This disobedience brings forth consequences, shame, guilt, and separation from the divine. God confronts them, pronouncing curses upon the serpent, woman, and man. Adam and Eve are banished from Eden, and a guardian, a flaming sword-wielding cherubim, is placed at the garden's entrance.
From this ancient narrative, we glean vital teachings that continue to hold profound significance in our lives: disobedience and sin. This chapter highlights the consequences of disobedience and introduces the concept of sin. It serves as a reminder that our choices have far-reaching effects, not only on ourselves, but on the world around us. Just as Adam and Eve faced the decision to disregard God's command, we too are confronted with moments where we must choose between right and wrong. The story of their disobedience teaches us about the gravity of our decisions and the potential for both personal and collective repercussions. Understanding the concept of sin encourages us to contemplate the moral dimensions of our actions and recognize the importance of making virtuous choices. Human vulnerability. The story of Adam and Eve's fall emphasizes our vulnerability to temptation, emphasizing that no one is immune to making wrong choices, even with good intentions. In our lives today, we encounter countless temptations and challenges. Just as Adam and Eve, despite their good intentions, yielded to the serpent's seduction, we find ourselves vulnerable to modern-day temptations. Whether it's the allure of materialism, the complexities of modern relationships, or ethical dilemmas in our professional lives, this teaching highlights our shared vulnerability. It calls on us to acknowledge our own susceptibility to making less than ideal choices and to approach ourselves and others with empathy. The origin of shame and guilt. Genesis chapter 3 explores the origins of shame and guilt, demonstrating how awareness of our own shortcomings can lead to self-consciousness. In our contemporary world, where mental health and self-awareness are topics of increasing importance, the story of Adam and Eve's response to their disobedience has profound relevance. It shows us the origin of feelings of shame and guilt, and how awareness of our own shortcomings can lead to self-consciousness. We all grapple with moments of insecurity, regret, and self-doubt. Understanding the roots of these feelings, as presented in Genesis chapter 3, can help us address and overcome them. It reminds us that acknowledging our own limitations is part of being human and encourages us to extend support and compassion to others as they navigate similar struggles.
Now, how do these ancient teachings relate to our lives today? Moral choices. We're reminded of the significance of making moral choices and the implications of disobedience or unethical behavior. In our contemporary world, where we face complex decisions in our personal lives, at work, or when addressing global challenges, this teaching encourages us to reflect on the ethics of our actions. The choices we make in our careers, relationships, and interactions with others carry weight. Just as Adam and Eve faced a crucial choice in the garden, we too encounter moments that test our values and principles. Recognizing the impact of our decisions on ourselves and those around us is essential. It invites us to be conscientious, ethical, and mindful of the consequences our choices may bear. Human imperfection. The story acknowledges human imperfection and the reality of making mistakes. In our interconnected world, this teaching fosters empathy and forgiveness in our interactions with others. We live in a world where imperfection is a shared human experience. Just as Adam and Eve were not immune to making mistakes despite their good intentions, we too stumble and err. Yet recognizing our shared fallibility creates opportunities for understanding and forgiveness. It encourages us to extend grace to ourselves and to those around us. In an era marked by diverse perspectives and experiences, embracing our shared imperfections can build bridges and foster unity. Awareness of consequences. This chapter underscores the idea that our choices have consequences, encouraging us to think about the broader impacts of our decisions in a world facing numerous challenges. In an ever-changing and often tumultuous world, understanding the consequences of our choices is vital. Just as Adam and Eve's decision affected not only their lives, but the course of human history, we too play a part in shaping the world we inhabit. Whether it's the environmental impact of our lifestyle choices, the political decisions we make, or the ethical considerations in our everyday lives, acknowledging the broader ramifications of our actions empowers us to make choices that align with our values and contribute positively to the world. Hope and redemption. The story offers hope for redemption and reconciliation, reminding us that even in our moments of straying, there's the possibility of reconciliation. In a world marked by challenges, conflicts, and personal setbacks, the concept of hope and redemption is a beacon of light. Just as the story suggests the possibility of reconciliation, our modern lives too are filled with opportunities for healing and redemption. Whether it's mending broken relationships, reconciling with our past, or working towards a brighter future, the idea of redemption is a powerful and transformative force.
As we conclude our exploration of the Bible, we're reminded of the timeless wisdom and beauty of this ancient text. The creation narrative continues to inspire and provoke contemplation about our place in the universe, the sanctity of life, and the natural world around us. It's a story that has been told for generations and continues to be a source of fascination and reverence.
If you enjoyed this video and want to delve deeper into the teachings of the Bible or explore other fascinating topics, please be sure to give us a thumbs up, share this content with others who may find it meaningful, and subscribe to our channel to stay updated with more engaging content.
Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the Bible, and we look forward to sharing more insights, knowledge, and inspiration with you in the future. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and stay inspired. See you in the next video.